All right, we're live. Awesome. Let me get this. Whoa, what happened? I was gonna get this tweeted out here in a second. Oh, here we go. There we go. Awesome. I hope everybody had a great trading day today. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty incredible, right? I mean, so the market just has this way, right, of making sure that, not necessarily frustrates, but yeah, I guess it frustrates as many people as possible for taking a direction. I think Jesse Livermore had a quote something like that. Basically, we were looking at a major pivot here, right at this resistance line, right on the SPX, and we kind of watched it. We sort of had this double top, and then kind of came back down. This is a nice pivot, right? So it looks like it was really working. Now, it did hit the 61.8% retracement right at the reaction line. So yeah, so push back up, possible, right? Just in the amount that it did today is just unbelievable. I mean, look at the this is the 15-minute chart, right? I mean, if you just did a 15-minute orb on trade on the SPX today, look at that. It got right through. This is the great part about having multiple monitors, right? So you can see right here, right, the 15-minute got right through this the cloud, and then you have 2758, right, and then boom, all the way. I mean. I mean, it's just incredible, right? 25 points from there, right? But even so, I mean, like just a straight trade. I mean, we had like 11 straight green bars, and then it just kind of paused and then went up again. Incredible. I mean, folks were talking about today, talking about Boeing, right? So like if you had, got a Boeing, there's a Boeing call out there, I think, for like a penny or something like that, and it could have, gone to $6 or something like that today. Just incredible, right? Just incredible. I mean, today, what was it? Today's, what was it? The 27. I've got a high low here. Yeah, the 2780s on the SPX went from 5 cents all the way to $4, right? And that's incredible, right? So I mean, and it did a good part of it. I'll show you the chart right here. If we go to this, we'll look at the options chart. I mean, it did it all before. It did half of it before noon. So I mean, just imagine you bought 100 calls. So $500 investment this morning. Let's look at the actual chart here. See what it looks like here with options. So yeah, so 5 cents basically right at the open, and then you buy $500 worth of calls, and then it went all the way before, like right by lunchtime, it got up to $2, right? So $24,000 by noon. What an incredible trade that would have been. So interesting to watch that stuff, right? I mean, really tough. I mean, that's really risky, right? You have $500, but I mean, if it stops you out at 2 cents, you lose $300 or something like that, So, but anyway, I'm not saying everybody go out and do that, but certainly on a day like today, it's pretty phenomenal. Now, if you held this all the way to the end of the day, right? I think it ended up getting to $4.40, so a $44,000 trade out of $500 investment. Pretty incredible stuff. But anyway, I digress. So SPX today. Let's go to the daily. I'm just kind of show what happened here. So it did. Justin mentioned today that made a really good catch on the charts here. That let me auto zoom in here, that it looks like a Morningstar setup, right? So we had this big move down, right, from March 4th, right? Pause day, inside day, break that inside day to the downside, right? Yorikiri bar bearish, right? Another continuation bar back through the 200 day, then down, right? What do we do? Real body is below real body, and then today pushed right through the 200 day, filled the gap. Right, and that really, not only did it penetrate this bar, it blew right past it, right? So right there, you got a nice Morningstar setup right there. So you're probably going to see that on a lot of charts too. So good catch on that, Justin. So good one there. Could potentially get some follow through. We had the exact same one, or a very similar one here, right? We had red bar, real body, another gap down, red bar below, right? Real body, and then we had that nice penetrating bar right there, and then it pushed all the way up to those highs, right? So not dissimilar setup here. So just keep an eye on that. It was such a big bar today. It's to me, it would seem like we'd probably have a pause day tomorrow. And as you can see, the options are the futures are green. And so we'll see. I mean, it's up 7 points right now. I mean, just incredible. So it looks to me like they really want to test those levels again. So maybe last time, what did we hit last time? 28.16, maybe it'll actually hit that magic 28.20 level, and then we'll see if that becomes resistance or if it blows through it again. So what I want to talk about today is when we're trading like that, when we get to these resistance levels, what can we do, right, as traders, especially as independent traders, right, who don't have the big institutional funds, to back us? What can we do, right? I've done a video in the past about breakouts, right, and breakouts are tough, right? So you could try to, get those breakouts, but they, there's algorithms back there, there's institutions that always push back, right? And they know that retail traders try to go long in these levels, right? Because they want to get those great breaks, right? I mean, who doesn't, right? But at the same time, they've got a little more patience and a little more money and can keep pushing back, right? And here, I mean, it happened again, right? They pushed and they pushed back, came here. So, the only, honestly, the only way it breaks through there is, I guess you could be like Braveheart or something like that, like running through. But when institutions start buying and pushing back through them, so who's got more weight. So anyway, when you see that, one thing you can do, and today I want to talk about, we had a special request to look at the DOM and the level 2. So we're going to take a look at that today. So what I want to do is just go back and look at Tesla. And it's not great. I'm gonna go to on demand, and hopefully it gives us a kind of a good look here today. Let me just show you. Let's go to the daily, and then here, so these volumetric levels, right? So this is one of the things I was talking about earlier about Tesla tagging that volumetric resistance today. So just be careful. Obviously, we want to break through on that. So this is something that we could apply tomorrow to what I want to show you from the past. So I'm going to go on demand. Now I mentioned earlier in Twitter, if anybody was following along with it, the DOM in Thinkorswim is not the best in the world. It's good. It's not great. And a couple people mentioned too that to get like level 3 and get some really powerful DOMs, you really gotta shell out some money to get that, right? Just like anything, to get the Bloomberg News terminal, you gotta shell out the money, right? So, but we use what we can, and level 2 is still pretty good. Okay, so in Thinkorswim, here's your main screen, right? I know it looks a little bit crowded here, but just so you know, I already put a line. And you can do this too when you see like a good volumetric level, or you see a good pivot support and resistance. You can draw price lines. You just click down here, right? You hit your level, and then this is kind of a yellow volumetric line. So you'd right click that, edit properties, and just change the color. You can make it more yellow looking, right? And I'll save that as a default. So this way when I do it down here, it'll be the same. And this way when you go to a different time frame, right, you can see where that daily volumetric level was, right? And so you can see here that Tesla on this day in the past, June 6th at 10:20 of, 2018, look at that. See how it's trying to get through here? It's trying to get through that volumetric level. You can see it doing that. So what I want to show you now is what we do is we click on Active Trader right here. And this is basically your DOM for Thinkorswim, okay? And so, in fact, let me go to a shorter time frame so you can kind of see a little more closely what's going on with Tesla if I zoom in on it. So you can see here it's trying to make this breakout right here, okay? It tried it earlier, came in, went under it, now it's breaking out, right? So we go to back to Active Trader. Now normally if it's live, for some reason on demand doesn't show you the how big, it'll put like volume chunks in here, like volumetric bars, and you can click like these little buttons in the middle to always center. What this does, it shows you where the market is, okay? So the market right now is at 305.84, right? You've got some sell orders, some ask orders up here. So this is your spreads, okay? And so you can see here your next size spreads. If you mark it in, you're going to get in. Even though you're at 305.66, you're going to buy at 305.80. So if you ever mark it in a trade and you're like, oh man, I got a really bad fill, well now you know why, right? Because that's where the asks are, right? And then if you have a big enough order, you could blow through that one and hit that one, right? That's when institutions really start dumping. They blow through the whole order book, right? So this is kind of represents what the order book is here. It's nice when you can trade this intraday, because it shows kind of some big volume chunks here to kind of where you can really kind of visually see where your resistance is and your support is. But that's where you click on this level 2 button and you can kind of see a little bit more. Okay, it's tough to fit all on one screen, but you can see here that it's poking its head through the that daily volumetric level. And what you do is you go down to the level 2 and you can kind of see your asks and your bids, right, and the different market makers that are that have those. And a lot of times you have these ones, right? And ones mean increments of 100, right? 3, so there's 300 shares there, right? So 10 would be 1,000, 100 would be 10,000, right? And sometimes you'll see 1,000, it's 100,000 shares, right? It's a lot of Tesla, right? So right now the biggest one you can really kind of see on the order book is basically that 100 right there. So that means you've got good support at 300. So where's 300? Let's put a mark right there. We'll zoom in here. Okay. So what happened was, right? What had happened is that the it had opened here, pushed down basically, right? Found enough volumetric support in that area, you know, and it's now well defended at 300. Okay, so here if you're looking to go long on Tesla, right, what you do is you might want to consider, if you're doing stops, yes, this is a good stop right here at 303, right? So you want to manage your risk so that this isn't, you know, destroying your account if you get stopped out down here. But you'd probably want to be safer, and Tesla can have, you know, can be prone to big swing moves. You might want to put your stop below these guys. Okay, so you have 100 there and 300 there. So let's say you buy, you know, a couple hundred shares or 100 shares or some options. You might want to consider getting out if you get below that 298.57. Okay, and right now it is looking to break out here, and there's not a lot of you know, there's not a lot of, and I wish you could kind of see up here, but you don't really see a lot of sellers up here. So not a lot of supply up there, so demand's pretty good. So what you do is, you know, you look to go long. So so let's go ahead and we'll just put like a simulated order in here. So we'll go buy custom with stop. And so, you know, probably what we want to do is, I mean, it's fine. Let's pretend like, you know, we got filled, so market. And then we'll put a stop. We'll put that stop below 298.57. So we'll make it 298.44. Okay, give us a little bit of room. Okay, and so let's do 500 shares of Tesla and see how that works for us. Okay, so we know that it's trying to break out through a major volume line. Right? Now keep in mind they're going to push back, but let's say we're already in and we're trying for the breakout, right? And we have our stop below that volumetric level, so I'm going to go ahead and go along there. Okay. May already have. I was trying this out earlier, so it may already have me in this trade, but maybe not. Let's see. I think it's rejected. Let's see. Yeah, it's got me long in that, right? Oh, I'm about $100 in that one. All right, let me close out that trade right there. We'll just mark it out on that. Okay, sell it there. Okay, we'll go back to the chart here. We'll go long because it looks like it's really trying to break out there. So we'll go here. Buy custom with stop. 500 shares. Market. That was at 298. Does it go without me? 298. What was that, like 44? Okay, so here we go. That's cool. Alright, so that's where we're at. So now you can see here, and again, it's tough to see here with all the volume levels, but you can kind of see where the asks and the bids are. So we definitely have a position on now up here. So what we would do is, what the cool thought about Thinkorswim is you can move your stops, right? Just by clicking on this and, you know, grabbing it and everything. You know, if you don't want to move it, you just, you know, hit cancel. Just cancel out of there. It'll put you back where you were. But if you're trailing, right? Let's say, okay, you're profitable and you just want to trail candle by candle. You don't have to, you know, manually do it. You can just kind of just move that line to the bottom of each candle like that, and just hit send. It will adjust your order. Now my stop is there, and say it keeps going up, right? You can keep trailing it that way, right? Just manually. So I'll bring it back to that. What is it, like 298.40? Let's go 41 like that. Okay. All right, so we're back there. So I'm just going to skip ahead and see how this thing looked by the end of the day. We'll see if it stopped us out or not. But that's the idea, is using the level 2 to find where there's big support and big resistance. And if you have a position on, based on a, you know, a good setup, right? So I mean here, let's say we're taking that hammer long or whatever the case is. You know, you want to stay safe and, you know, stay behind, you know, some of the bigger money. Now, are there games that are played by these guys? Sure. Yeah. Do they put on like big ask prices to make you think there's a big defense there? Yeah. Do they actually want to sell? No, but they're just you know, just trying to, you know, play games. It's kind of gray area SEC type stuff, but they do it, you know, because it's easy to say, you're like, oh, I meant to put the order in, and I just, you know, decided to cancel, decided it wasn't for me, right? So it's kind of one of those gray area type things. But yeah, so let's see how this trade would have turned out. I'm going to take off the active trader, which is your DOM, or depth of market, right? It shows you where all the levels are and the you know, the ask and the bids, and then we've got our level 2, of course. Now level 2, just so you know, this is how you trade aftermarket or pre-market. If you guys don't do it, just be really careful with it. But you can only do limit orders, right? And so you really have to be careful, right? Pre-market and aftermarket, right? Because you can't just mark it out if it starts, really going against you after hours. You're at the limit of where those, where these are. And if that one goes away, and then you're $2 out, then you're kind of messed up, right? So, all right, let's just go to 2 o'clock and see how that would have done. Well, let's go to 12 and see how we are at 12. Looks like a whole lot of nothing, but sometimes this doesn't update really well, so let's just see. Yeah, we should be here, but it's not showing me that yet, so let me try 12 again. Sometimes you have to really be like, hey, 12 o'clock, please. And see how that did. Oh, looks like it did pretty well. Let's see if this is right. Yeah, already up to 313. So it was 10 points up. That would be pretty nice, right? On 500 shares. Let's see what that looks like in terms of P&L. Give us a second here. I don't like it when the bid goes from 313 to 307 in 2 seconds, but give it a minute here. That's always scary. It's like, oh, it's up. No, I'm down. Oh, no. All right, hold on. Just give it a second. This is worth seeing because it's pretty fun. Bear with me here. Any minute now. Maybe the level 2 is too much for it. Let me take the level 2 out. It's tough. You have to admit that it is pretty smooth at this the on demand. I mean, it literally updates everything on my watch list, right? All the values of all these old data. I mean, it's pretty impressive that it pulls all this stuff, and then charts it dynamically with virtual orders and trend lines. So I'm okay giving it a second. So I'll give it another second here. Let's see active trader. See if that pulls up. Let's center line, center view. See, it's not even showing the prices right there. It's just really struggling right here. Let's go monitor and see how those look. See how that position. Yeah, not too bad, right? So we just made $4,000 on a Tesla trade today. So not too bad on that one. So that made sense too, right? What we did, and we went long at a break of volumetric resistance. It broke. We stayed safe because we put our stop below the level 2, and we're looking for some more upside there. So not bad. A $4,000 trade here in the evening. That's pretty good. I can sleep on some hundreds tonight, so that's all good. But anyway, at this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, please feel free to put those in the chat window, and we'll get through those. So the best we can. We'll try to get done around 10 o'clock because it is daylight savings time, and everybody wants to get a good night's sleep, I'm sure. So what's going on here? I got off of on demand, but it's still kind of stalled out here on me. Give it a second. Anyway, Postman Dube, what's going on? How are you? R. Stewart, Rod Stewart, what's up, man? Good to see you. Hola. And Paul, what's going on? I know, yeah, today was just completely insane, but you got to go with it, right? So today are pretty hard days. If you didn't have a strategy set up, that's why those game plan items are really good, right? Because if the market's just going crazy, just go to your game plan, right? And so at the open it was Nvidia and Tesla, and those ended up working out really great, and that's fine, right? So, but it's hard when you're just kind of deer in the headlights and staring at the SPX going up like crazy. Golly, guys, I don't know why this is it really gets overloaded sometimes. For that, if I can't pull it up here, I might pull up a trading view or something like that. Let me see. Okay, performance issues. Okay, there we go. Performance anxiety. Okay, so SPX, let's see. Good. Let me just get to the good stuff here. Okay, there we go. All right, sorry guys. Yeah, crazy mood today, Paul. NetFry, what's going on, man? Okay, let's check out CI. Yeah, that was our notable inside day today, right? So let's see what it did. Looks like it didn't do much of anything today. Of all the stuff that didn't move, the one that we were watching right on the inside day list did not too much. So so let's see just what happened here. You do have oversold conditions on the RSI. So is it getting ready to bounce here? Yeah. Do you have bullish divergence? Yes, you do. Was today constructive? Yes, it was. Was it a double inside day? Let's see. Low. Let's see, 255. Oh, no, not quite double inside day, because this one, it tagged a little bit below it, but it did give you a nice doji here. And so it really does look like it is probably going to work on reversing. Now, it does have that volumetric level here at 165, 165.50 or so, and then you might get start to get another move back to the upside. So wasn't quite ready today when the market was ripping. If you're staring at this all day, probably really frustrated, right? Because the rest of the market was ripping, but that's okay. That's why we have multiple items to look at. So, Wiener, what's going on? I appreciate that. Cots commercial shorter. That's right. Yeah, exactly. Shirley, what's going on? Good to see you, of course, as always. Jay, what's happening? Jimmy, hey, Bubble. Hope you did well today. Yep, it was a good day. Can you take a look at NSC and here? Yep. So NSC is Norfolk Southern. Ooh, nice move there today. So not everything moved great like this. Okay, so I went through a bunch of charts. There wasn't this is a huge, nice green bar today, and like you said, this one doesn't have earnings until end of April. So last earnings were a beat. So it's been kind of moving up. Nice gap up here, right? Just kind of consolidation move. So really, what you had here was like a bear flag, and I'm sorry, a bull flag, and kind of hard to see right there, but nice breakout through that today. So it's right at the mid Bollinger Band. What I do like is that the upper Bollinger Band is about to cross right into the Celt, and then that could give you one of those TTM squeeze type situations here. You see how it kind of broke through the Celt and kind of went up. So let's see how it handles that level right here. I would think maybe a pause day and then maybe another move up there. So, but I like how RSI and everything's kind of turning up. So that looks great. And here. Here's an interesting one. I have traded this one a couple times, and it is very challenging with options because the spreads can jump from like 10 cents to 20 cents, and if you're scalping options, that's never fun. But in terms of earnings, let's kind of just take a look and see what it's doing. It had a monumental run up there, right? And it's kind of has been chopping around. So I think all this chop that we're seeing here is probably going to get, we're going to see some action on it after earnings. I mean, it's I think I'm using one of their speakers right now, to do this broadcast. So I mean, it's it's a relatively popular company. It's kind of flagging right here, so it's right at this volumetric level. So yeah, it's got to get over 16, the 1609 level to try to get back to that 1650 level. So just keep an eye on it. It's tough too to play options with these smaller stocks too, because you have to look at the relative move and what the delta is on the options that you're getting. So if anything like this, I would just wait until after earnings and look at the 15 orb on it. So, but I guess kind of it looks like it's bull flagging right here. So, it looks like it might have some potential on it. So, yeah. The only thing I guess they have a good business model because their headphones usually tend to break after about 3 months, and they have to buy another one. So I guess it's good replacement stuff. But Sandeep, what's going on? Good to see you, man. Jimmy, what's up? Let's see. What do we got? Sandeep. Okay, so hope you made some gains today. Yes. Can you please look at SFIX and AVGO and Docu? Yeah. So SFIX earnings were good, I believe. So let's see how they were doing after hours. I haven't had a chance to look at the chart yet. SFIX is another one that's a little bit challenging to trade, because earnings season is kind of running to an end. It is so you got these kind of cheap stocks that are a little bit spready and tough to trade. So gapping up nicely, if the market's really strong, you could get a gap and go on this one. You could look at the 5-minute orb to try to, look to trade that one to the upside. Just remember, stops, you have a better chance of getting stopped out, or just watch the 15 and, try to scalp that. So, I mean, even here after hours, you had a 15 orb here, right? 3103 all the way to 34, right on that break there. So, there you go. You can look at your level 2 and kind of set your limit orders to kind of work your way up that way too after hours. Just be very careful trading after hours, right? It's a little bit more like the Wild West, right? So that's my thoughts on Stitch Fix. Let's go. Let's see if there's any. Let's see if there's any pivots there for you though, or some gaps. Let's go here. You can see I've tried to Elliott wave this one before. So level 2 is a great way to just to kind of see where you're at after hours. So 33. Where's 33? Kind of at this level. So what it does is that takes us over volumetric support, right? And so that's good. And so that is going, as long as it holds that level, that 32, 32 tomorrow, it's got a better chance of trying to fill this old gap right there. So pretty bullish on that, especially if the market is bullish tomorrow. So that could be pretty interesting. AVGO, yeah, let's see how that's going. Appreciate you continuing to follow up on that. Like a lot, it's got that Morningstar setup. It's got over volumetric support. It's kind of working its way up to the mid pitchfork. Bounced off of, basically that fib fan line, and it's kind of working its way up. So we talked about a potential target at 275. That's your mid pitchfork level. We got earnings coming up pretty soon on Thursday. So let's just see if we can get a little earnings run out of that. So could be pretty interesting. Actually, it might be worth looking at selling some premium into earnings because let's see how the IV is. It's only at 52% right now, so not super stellar. This is the type of one you might want to, sell some puts, sell some put spreads. There's just something you can get some premium out of up into earnings. So that's a possibility too. So just hypothetically, if you sold a credit spread or put spread here, right, you could take in what's that? $2 worth of credit, and yeah, right. So your max loss on that one is $20, but your max profit is $230. So you have to see how that plays out during active hours, right? There's not a lot of volume here at open interest, so you just be careful. You might end up being out on those, but gosh, that's a pretty good deal right there. So pretty good premium that you take in there, as long as it stays below, doesn't get into your business at it's got a $10 expected move, so so you're at 270, so you're starting to get pretty close there at 285. So just got to be careful with that one. Let's see what that one does here. Sell credit spread. It's about saying the same thing, 245. It's tough to see how it fills here. Max loss $5, max gain 245. So that's a pretty good risk reward if you ask me. Those usually don't really work out quite like that in the real world, but it's a great way to capitalize on the high volatility, the high IV going into earnings. So this looks a nice high price stock too. So you have a chance of making a little on that. And then let's take a look at Docu. Docu's looking good. So breaking through the daily. This is on a watch list too recently of mine, but didn't really come because it's kind of thinly traded. But is it? Let's see how thinly traded it is today. No, it's not really that thinly traded. Millions of shares, so I guess it's okay. It's been on the watch list before, and it's kind of come up. I just don't really trade it much anymore, or look to it. But yeah, that looks pretty bullish. I mean, it's really working its way back up there. It's hard for me to. If anything, maybe kind of working on a little bit of a cup and handle, possibly breaking up, right? A little scallop or something, but looks good. You had a gap right here to fill too, around $60.84. So look for some continuation there. It looks pretty, the R size, why not retest a little bit higher? So like you said, it's got some earnings coming up too this week, so that's another one to keep an eye on as well. What else we got? A wiener used to be easy all day. Oh, I know. Have you ever traded stocks on foreign exchange? I have not, but I've traded U.S. and foreign countries. Jay, what's going on, man? Seal, let's take a look. Okay, yeah. It was had a bunch of volume come into it recently, which is pretty crazy for a little penny stock like this. But obviously, some news. There's your volumetric level. It poked over it, came back in, right? So it came back in pretty hard, and so now it's just kind of pausing right here. I don't know how much life it's going to have in it, but let's see. It's got earnings this week, so it's definitely something to keep an eye on. Obviously, no directional bias on this. It's really tough to trade these penny ones, but goodness, look at where it came from. Whoa. Bad day. Hope he bought up there. Bought the highs up there. Goodness gracious. Yeah. Amazing. Well, the volume went up to the Fib fan line, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, just got to watch this one. I mean, obviously, if it breaks out on earnings, start to look for some gap fills, right? This one looks like it could be pretty crazy. L Wiener, March 22, 300 big numbers. Yep. Yeah, I'm on Thinkorswim. There's definitely better DOMs out there, right? I know some people who've showed me their trade station. It's pretty impressive. It does a lot better. It saves the volume. Like Thinkorswim, I think it only holds the volume levels up for a little bit, but the Thinkorswim, I think, has cumulative volumes. So G10, what's going on, man? IBM, sure, let's take a look. Kind of perked up a little bit there and is poking its head above the volumetric level. I've got, did some analyses on these previously. We're going into a reaction line here. So that's pretty good. So, I mean, it could give you a move up to this larger pitchfork range. It's finally starting to move after earnings, right? Kind of chopped around, kind of came back up, retested the earnings level. This was your 15 orb right here on earnings. So that orange line, that was the bottom of the 15 orb. So that was your full range of that first day of earnings. And then, so it kind of tested that level, came back off of it. So yeah, I think it looks pretty bullish. You can see the volume right here. So just be careful all the way up until 143. And AMD. Yeah, looks pretty good. Nice pivot there off of off of the volumetric resistance area. These I think were just examples. Let me take that out. That out. And that out. Okay, so earlier I think I was looking at 1, 2, 3, ABC 4, and then I was looking for maybe a wave 5, but that would have to have been a 1, 2, and 2 can't go over wave 1, so that doesn't work. So if anything, A, B, maybe still working on C somehow, and then maybe possibly working on a wave down. So this could be like 1, could be working on 2, then 5. A little bit kind of funky, kind of choppy, messy. Nothing really clean in terms of a setup on it. Let's see. Except for the that Morningstar reversal there is nice. Inside 60 anchor, so very good one on there. That's going on the game plan for tomorrow. AMD is fun to trade at the open. So watch this 60-minute bar at the open tomorrow if you like trading the open. It's a great way to do it, right? So it just gives you a good point of reference for, if you kind of gap in the middle there to look to trade a break to the upside or downside, depending on which way the market's going, right? And then just be careful on small range, like 9-cent ranges in there. It's really tough to easy to get stopped out. So sometimes you just use the mother bar or use their pivots, for that. So, but could get a nice push on that. So AMD is fun to trade at the open. So glad we caught that one. Thank you for bringing that up. And then AGN. Well, I'll give you an inside 60 anchor too. I'm not really big at trading, the biopharma type stuff, but some people are really successful with it. I just never really got to have tried, and it's just like, oh, why aren't you moving like a normal stock, and that type of thing. But looking pretty good. I mean, the daily, look at that, it's breaking, starting to poke through the cloud. So I think a break over today's highs, it could be pretty good. A potential push to that 154 level. And then, I don't know, counter perspective. I mean, if it breaks the 50 or the inside 60 anchor to the downside, right, you've got that to deal with too. We have this pitchfork level too, kind of came off of our level as well, kind of pivoted here. So it could be, again, working its way up to that 154, 156 potential. So it looks pretty interesting there, especially, earnings a little way to go. So yeah, looks pretty good. It's got a little trend line here too. Kind of see that, kind of-ish. So a little crossover, it's a little sloppy, but it seems to be kind of being constructive, right? So something to keep an eye on. Yeah, TOS. I went Dix. Let's take a look at it, and then SFix. So we just looked at XFix. So hopefully you caught that. Okay, so I see what you're saying. You wanted SFix instead, yeah. So we just looked at that one. So hopefully that was helpful. Xilinx. Paul. Let's see what we got. Wow. So again, we were looking at shorting up here, and it was a good short strategy. Because what did we see? We saw here on the daily that we were at the nice big doji here, right? Overbought. Obviously, it was overbought this whole way, but doji at the upper Bollinger Band, right? So this was a potential short area here for a push down that way. This is a potential short here for a nice push to the downside, especially on this doji down, right, to here. Then we had a bull flag that we were working on, and it did poke its head over that today with the hammer Morningstar setup. Looks good. Messages held for review. Show. StockCharger.com. Okay, cool. Yeah. 2019 looks good. Are you an independent? Yes, I'm independent. Trades pot. Look at AA. PYX. Yeah, I'm not a prop trader or anything like that. Just trade independently and like to share what I've learned. Plus, it helps we get when I get good participation, it gets me looking at other stocks, gives me ideas like AMD and Xilinx and all these other great ideas that you guys have to help me trade. Come up with ideas too. Yeah, so this is looking pretty good too. I mean, have a few levels here. I don't know how I have all these levels. I don't think I've ever traded this one. I must have done it in here previously. But yeah, it is looking, or maybe as an example. Let's see how it is. Yeah, so we've got a couple key levels. This is kind of your daily, volumetric level. It's got through there. It's got through the fib fan area. So yeah, I think it looks pretty good. I mean, maybe some consolidation, then possible target around like 33. So that looks pretty strong. Volatility squeezed by power cycle trading is awesome. Nice. Team. Let's take a look at team. Yeah, very strong there. Definitely. Let's see. Yeah, we've done a pitchfork on this one prior. Yeah, held the median line, came up, pivoted off there. It looks like it's going to test again, so that's looking pretty strong there. Shirley, what's going on? Let's check these out. TEUM. Wow. There's an example, 50 cents all the way up to $4. Beautiful trade right there. So yeah, so at this point, just be careful if it's getting overextended at this point. But right now, those are kind of your levels, but it, nice, bull flag moving up. So just keep an eye on those at, at the highs, but respect your targets. V, very good. Haven't looked at this one in a while. Yeah, starting to poke its head up there. So might take a shot at those all-time highs. Just be careful they don't push you down at that point. That's always dangerous at all-time highs. Institutions love to do that because I know retail traders try to go long at those highs, right? Let's see here. JCPenney. Hard to be long on this one, but but I guess you could always try. This is just a tough stock trade. It is starting to move into a little volume gap right here, and it's got a gap to fill too. So yeah, so that I think you have some potential there. Although crazy enough, it's getting overbought. VFF. Huge move today. And earnings this week. So it's talk about a volume run, or talk about an earnings run. Super, just like gap up move. I mean, that's talk about like 3 white soldiers right there, right? So I mean, that's just super strong on that one. Rajat, what's going on? TIF, yes, thank you for bringing that. I've got that on my list. So let's talk about it now. All right, so a couple things with that, right? So we wanted to look at the Fibonacci fan lines, right? TOS is awesome, but it's not like super precise. It doesn't, for some reason, it doesn't carry over some of the levels that you draw to different areas, right? So here you'll see, just based on from the high to low, we've gotten through that Fibonacci level. So these are all, kind of, you still have to take it with a grain of salt, right? I mean, they're not perfect, but they're still pretty good. I mean, the closer you get into it, I guess the better. But when you look at, the daily, it looks like we're through it, and then the weekly. Oh, sorry, that was the weekly. And lost my daily. There we go. They don't necessarily always match up, so I can see what you're saying on yours. Sometimes they don't. But what I do like about TIFF is that you've got the Morningstar setup, right? From the down move right here, right? Gap down, real body below it, and then pushed right way back through it, right? So definitely possible to get some continuation on this. Let's do a pitchfork on this one too. Let's go hourly. See if there's anything interesting here. TIFF, I will say TIFF is a little bit challenging to trade. It's not quite predictable. Let's see how this looks. Here it came down, fib fan line, broke out, kind of come up. It just looks like it's like really trying really hard up here. So that's the only thing I'd be careful about. Let's go. It is working. It is getting through the volumetric level. I'm just trying to look for something really compelling about it. Gosh, it really chopped around for a long time in this area. Came up. I remember this. I remember trying to go long here. I did try to trade this because I had some news. I had like this upgrade, and then it just couldn't handle it, and just really just kind of just crashed from all that level. Yeah, I think I tried it like 120 in here and got out. And I'm glad I did. So now it's just kind of trying to work its way back up apparently. So tough one. All I'm going to say is that it does look good. It does look constructive. It does have some nice. It is getting through. This used to be. I mean, if you kind of just draw this whole area, just put like a congestion zone over this whole area, it's in it, right? And so, I really want to just see it just keep working its way back up, right? Because if it does, then right, you can get to once you can get to 100, and once you can get over 100, then you can start working on filling the gap. So that's the only thing with Tiffany. It's a tricky one to, and you can see it's not even really Elliott wave countable. You know what I mean? It's like one, ABC, maybe 2, 3, 4, and then a 5, right? And then A, maybe B, C. It's just, you can just look at it. I mean, it's just a not intuitive stock to trade. So just keep an eye, but good one. And I'm glad we got to that too. It's on the list, but just try to get through everything. Shirley, let's look at a couple more of these, and then we'll wrap up a little bit early, or we'll wrap up because it's getting a little bit late. But let's check up Vale. Hard to believe that that Vale is not just completely decimated after everything that happened down there, but I guess they're working. Government's watching them. I don't know why this Vale is not coming up. Let's check out MLNX. I'm losing some connectivity here. Might be a sign. Surely you got a lot tonight. Let's try to keep it to 5. Give me a second. Yeah, we'll get to. Well, I'll grab a few of these. I'll grab like BBB or BBY. Okay, let's do Vale. All right, we got Vale. All right, so Vale. Okay, well, it hit that volumetric level, so so be careful there. Mellanox had a lot of volume coming into. I guess it's getting bought out, so just be careful with that. If it is, it's going to chop around forever. So just be careful of that. BBY. But everybody, still pay attention to like Shirley's stocks and levels. They're pretty incredible. So she'll catch one that'll explode like 1,000%. So so that's good. All right, so we had this pitchfork that we were working on here. Kind of Let's kind of remove that. Kind of really kind of. I think we need to do something bigger. Let's go to this level here. Let's go here. We had that channel working out. We've been looking at this one for a while. Came off of that pitchfork resistance and just is it's kind of floating around up here, right? So a bit of an island, top. So just see if it can get back through those levels. I think that 73.32 is going to be key, and then it'll get back in this old channel, and then it might, kind of go back to normal. But right now, just kind of doing its thing. So so yeah. So how did that look? That's fine. Yep, looks good. And I'm gonna skip over a few of these there. Let's look at AGNC, and then we'll wrap up there. If it'll even come up. There we go. Investment Corp. Okay, we've looked at this one. So so we did the pitchfork here, breaking out through it. So just needs to get through that 18.1, and then I think your levels look good. Shirley, Prayer Kid, late for the party. What's going on, Prayer Kid? Good to see you, man. Awesome job on everything. So thanks for all your good tweets and everything. So a wiener, that is what I meant. U.S. stocks in foreign countries. Yeah, just not on their exchanges though. So, but I've been outside I've done all that good fun stuff. It's cool. It's fun. Just you get exhausted because you trade all night. Fry, plug, good. Sandeep, 2 more, Cree and Avia. So let's take a look at that, Cree. Whoa, big move today, just like a lot of different stocks. But yeah, I mean, this does look constructive, for the most part. Let's go here to here. This kind of reminds me a little bit of the iRobot one that I was looking at earlier, that I was tweeting about. But yeah, that looks looking pretty good. It's got earnings coming up. It's just be careful at these highs, right? Because you never know what's going to happen. They could just push you back down. So there might not be anyone selling up there, so you might be the only, you might be buying and nowhere to go. Right, so just be careful there. And then AVYA. Cool. Really broke down below those volume levels. So, this is kind of some major support. Let's look at the, I don't know if I can go back any farther, but however you look at it, right, that's kind of your key level. So it seems to be holding that. As long as it can hold that, kind of this area, right? Just keep your stops, tight, below that, kind of below this area here if you're looking to go long. So, so that's that one. And let's see. I do not trade bonds. Nope. No, don't even mess with bonds. I'm not that sophisticated. Let's see. What's going on? Labu versus LabD. Best way to play. But okay, cool, nice. Keep that in mind. CNI. Sorry, Shirley. I'm just too many. CND planning to go long. MO. Nice. LGND. PM. If you're interested, please take a look at those charts with them tomorrow. Thanks so much. Oh, no problem, Sandeep. I appreciate it, man. Getting a little late here, but yeah, bring those up again tomorrow and let me know. The volatility squeeze. Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, cool, man. Yeah, that's great. Appreciate you jumping in, man. I don't know if you found us on Twitter or through YouTube, but really appreciate your sharing, man. Anybody who's got tons of experience, we always appreciate that. The fib arc, you mean like the spiral? The fib arcs, let me see. So what we got? This. Not so much. I haven't traded these before. I've kind of experimented with them a little bit, but I think it's definitely something we can take a look at a little bit more. But that definitely looks pretty cool. I've seen some pretty. I saw a few of these on TradingView the other day that look pretty interesting. How they kind of look at that. So it's kind of coming down here, up, down at the bottom of the arc, and kind of working its way up. So I do like that, and we'll probably research it a little bit more. Justin, good to see you, man. Gave you a shout out earlier. E-signal. Oh, okay, e-signal is good. Got it. TradeStation e-signal advanced, get well worth it. Nice. Yeah, I'll probably TradeStation. It's a good platform, but it's just too tough. They've got a good mobile platform, but it's just too tough for me to deal with it. It's just not very user friendly. But e-signal seems pretty cool. XLV target for tomorrow. Nice. Yeah, I like that 91. And then see if you can go from there. China on TIFF. Nice. Let's see what else we got. Of course, Rajat, thank you. Yeah, thanks for jumping in too. Appreciate it. It's good. Yeah, e-signal, KMI on a drop. Nice. Really sorry. Overstock. You sound nice. Sounds nice. A half arc easier. Cool. Yeah, we'll have to check that out. Yeah, I'm pretty straightforward guy. I try to be nice. It's like my goal in life. So awesome. Thanks, Darren. Appreciate it, man. TradeStation. Yeah, TradeStation freezes. And Ameren. Yeah. So Ameren. Few people attempted this long today. This just looks pretty complicated, but this is a good trader stock, as my friend Scott likes to say. So good stuff, guys. El Wiener, I appreciate you jumping in. Again, great to have you. Great to have everybody. Thanks for coming and joining today. Like think of price in 3D. No, yeah, I do like that. It's pretty cool. Like DNA. No, I get it. Yeah, I saw a couple of cool perspectives of that. So yeah, how it kind of moves instead of just in 2 dimensions here, but you could actually kind of see it moving in like a cube or something like that. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool way to look at it. So we'll do some more research on that, and then maybe I'll do a show on that too. So Planet Sandeep, everything's done good. It's edited, so I'm just waiting to publish it right now. So it's since I'm self-publishing, it's a little bit more expensive, and I just want to wait a little bit so I could pay for it with trading dollars, so instead of out of pocket. So I'm working on it, so it should be soon enough, but it'll be good. It'll be fun. I've got 2 coming out, so they should be pretty good. All right, guys. No, it's cool, Shirley. I appreciate it. No, it was just for time and all that. So we try to keep around 5, but I'll do my best to get through as many as I can. But at this point, guys, it is daylight saving, so everybody have a good night's sleep, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. I'll put some ideas on Twitter, and I hope everybody has a great trading day tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.